Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm doing both a live stream and a YouTube video at the same time, answering Q&A. So if you have a question you want submitted to the show, please do so by commenting on the YouTube video below. That would be great. Or you can email me, danny@thehasociety.com. This first question is from Karina, who has emailed in for me. So Karina says, hey Danny, I'm currently in HA recovery, no period yet, but I believe I'm making progress. And I was wondering if you can help me understand some symptoms. I haven't had a period since March 2024. I'm in recovery by actively increasing my caloric intake and resting more. On July 31st, I saw egg white like cervical mucus, and then on the 5th, I experienced spotting for 3 days. Then on August 18th, I saw egg white mucus again, and then on the 28th, I saw more egg white cervical mucus. Is this a sign of progress, and are these attempts at ovulation? I think it's really good to understand what the mucus means for recovery, because this is a common thing. I'm curious for anyone in the chat or in the comments if you have found like understanding the role of mucus and then what it means for your recovery confusing or not. But here we go. So from a physiological view, right, the goal of cervical mucus is to keep sperm alive for long enough for you to ovulate and get pregnant. So in a healthy, regular menstrual cycle, you're gonna see this for like 3 to 5 days right prior to ovulation. So you know if you're seeing it, you typically have not ovulated yet in a healthy menstrual cycle. Once it stops, and your temperature spikes, you have ovulated, no more cervical mucus, there's no real point in it being produced, and the cervix closes so it can't come out, even if it were being produced. So when you don't have a period and you finally start seeing cervical mucus, this is evidence that your body has a follicle somewhere on an ovary trying to come to maturation, trying to ovulate. Which this person, Karina, knows, and she understands this. But she's like, I'm seeing it, and then not long after I'm ovulating. When you have not long after I'm bleeding. When you have HA, just because you see mucus does not mean you definitely have ovulated. So like she's wondering, it absolutely could be a sign of attempts at ovulation. She has not said that she's tracking her temperature. And you can't be sure if you've ovulated when you're someone with a recent history of HA by using mucus only. There are ways that you can confirm if you ovulated with mucus only methods, but you do need to be like far and away out of amenorrhea and cycling regularly to get to a point where you can do that. You need to be cross-checking this with temperatures. So Karina, you're never gonna know because you did you did see blood. My gosh, words. You did see blood really shortly after seeing mucus. Like you saw July 31st, you saw mucus, then you bled on the 5th. So that's only 5 days. You could have ovulated, but you also could not have, because an ovulation often, it's not gonna hold out for very long. So it really could look like a short cycle. You need to be temping to confirm that. Otherwise you're not gonna have the answer to your question, but like you're not gonna know for sure if you ovulated, but it definitely is a sign of progress, and it definitely is your body attempting to ovulate. Hope that helps. Okay, let's do a second question. Ariana said, hey, when I stopped breastfeeding, I thought my period would come back, but it never showed up again, and it hasn't arrived for 6 months now. I lost a few kilos while I was breastfeeding, but above all, I went through a difficult and stressful time. But I do eat 1,800 to 1,900 calories a day, and my hormones are okay according to my medical tests. Only LH and prolactin were low. Why doesn't my period come back? What am I doing wrong? Sometimes I have very strong pelvic pain, and I always hope it's my period or ovulation, but nothing happens. So I don't know anything about your like height and weight, but it's highly possible that 18 to 1900 calories is not enough for you. I don't know about you guys. I remember when I was eating like 1700 calories and I felt like that was a lot. 1900, I remember getting there. I had HA at 1900 calories, easy. I had HA at 2200 calories. So seeing how many calories you're eating, no matter what the number is not likely to be like something I can tell you if it's enough or not. But time over time, that amount of food is not enough. So if you have been breastfeeding and you had a pregnancy and all that good stuff, you're probably in a deficit and you're probably not eating enough. That's not enough for breastfeeding. You're going to have to get yourself out of that deficit. And I know you finished breastfeeding, but if you still don't have a period, well, then you know that it's not enough, right? If you know this is HA, you know that's not going to be enough food for you. And your hormone levels coming back okay is pretty standard for HA. So if anyone's doctors are like, well, your labs look normal, that's actually a clue for us that it actually could be HA, because there are no other lab numbers standing out, creating reason for you to think it's something else, right? That's kind of how it works. And if your LH and prolactin are low, that actually makes sense. So obviously your prolactin is low, meaning it's not the breastfeeding still being like, it's not the prolactin still being high in your system from breastfeeding. So that this is most likely what it is. I hope that was helpful. Let's go to one more. But of course my screen is like hella zoomed in. I don't know what to do. There we go. Y'all should see the setup I have here to try and do a live stream and a YouTube video at the same time. Okay, Rachel. Rachel says, hi Danny, I've been listening to the pod for a while now, and I think I only really started to make progress in my recovery because I found it. Thank you. Thanks for bringing awareness. My question is, can I run at a very low intensity? Heart rate no higher than zone 2. I've been recovering, I've been recovering for a long time now, about 22 months. I have my periods back now, but they're still irregular. It took me a very long time because I initially started to go all in. I had my hormones tested in April and I wasn't ovulating on my own that time. Now I'm unsure whether I'm ovulating naturally because I've been trying to get pregnant. So I have been taking letrozole. I actually did get pregnant, but sadly I miscarried about 6 weeks ago. I've still been doing a lot of the things for a very long time now. Eating a lot, more variety, more calories. I decreased my exercise to just walking and doing 2 reformer Pilates sessions weekly. I've changed jobs and I've dropped a day of work to be part-time to reduce stress. I'm seeing a therapist, I'm doing acupuncture, restorative yoga, and somatic exercises, and prioritizing rest and sleep. Whew. My question is, can I start running again if I keep my heart rate very low? As in, still be able to have a full conversation and not be out of breath at all. I feel like this is barely more than fast walking, but it would really help with my mood and mental health. Exercise has always been a huge part of my identity since I was a child, and I love it and miss it so much. I cry all the time because I'm just so jealous that my husband and all my friends are allowed to run, and I'm not. After being on this journey for a really long time, it's just wearing me down. What are your thoughts? P.S. I'm only hoping to do one of these mental health runs per week, and only for a very short distance. I actually wonder if it's not so much going to be for you about if you're 22 months in and you don't have a period and you introduce running, but you don't change anything else, nothing's going to happen for you in the direction you want. Trying to check, you're unsure if you're ovulating naturally because you're on letrozole. This is tough, right? This is not Once we start introducing exogenous hormones like letrozole, Clomid, progesterone, estrogen, any of those things, we're leaving the world of natural fertility entirely, right? It's interesting to be unsure if you're ovulating naturally. So going on letrozole, like, you would want to probably want to confirm that, but I could totally see doctors putting you on letrozole anyways. So there's that, but you've exited the world of natural fertility at this point. So the run is probably much of a muchness at that point. You're not going to not ovulate on letrozole just because you're running. But if you want to ovulate naturally, this is a different question. And for most of the people listening, they are actually people who want to ovulate naturally. So with that in mind, I would say that if Rachel, or if you're 22 months into recovery and nothing is happening, there's a deeper dive that I want to do on that. It shouldn't take you that long if you're all in. There's something about that that's not sitting well for me. And what's fascinating is you're doing everything. I mean, I would love to have a conversation with Rachel because I have questions, right? I want to, like, if you're seeing a therapist, you're doing acupuncture, you're doing yoga, you're doing somatic exercises, you're prioritizing rest and sleep. This girl's doing it all. Like, props to her. She's 100% in on this. And is it possible that she's too in on it because this should be working? Is it possible she initially struggled to go all in? Is it possible that she's doing everything but some of the things that she truly needs to? Like, is she eating enough carbohydrates? Is she eating enough in general? Or is she trying to avoid having to do that by doing therapy, acupuncture, yoga, etc.? Because you cannot avoid the food part. You can't out supplement. You can't out breathing exercise. You can't out ashwagandha your recovery. None of that can be done. So my concern is food will not increase, but she'll add this run and stay stuck and have only letrozole to go with. But if she obviously got her period back and she never confirmed if she was ovulating, she just went straight on hormones, which tells me the desire for a baby is super duper strong. You're just like, I didn't even have time for being unsure at this point. I'm done. I want to have the kid. I'm going to go on letrozole. So if that's your goal and you're going to do it that way, you may be able to continue running. If the running doesn't work, like if you are still not getting pregnant, I'd back off the running again. If backing off the running but continuing to take the letrozole still doesn't work, something else is missing, which brings me back to like Rachel, let's just fill out a coaching application and let's just do at least like a one-time consult to go through all of this and look at your logs and look at your history. I want to know your height to weight. I want to know how much walking you do. I have the questions about all of that stuff, right? Because the answer is going to be in the minutia. It's going to be in the context of everything before we can be certain that like you have an unexplained infertility issue. You know what I'm saying? I hope that was helpful. I know what you want is just like permission to go for the run. I mean, go for the run. But you know, and I say this all the time, you just have to be willing to admit when it's not working, and you have to eat enough food. You have to. So I think when people say they're all in, that obviously means a lot. You're eating a lot more, but I don't know, like, was your relationship with food before so, like, were you eating so little food that your idea of all in is coming up to maintenance and that's just never going to be enough, right? You need to go into surplus to recover, and maybe you feel like you're in a surplus because you used to eat so little. I have so many questions. So I hope this is helpful. And like, Rachel, we should chat. And thanks for joining me, guys, for the live stream and on YouTube. And I'll see you guys next week. And I appreciate you all. Bye.